Happy Thursday, everyone. I'm the Doc. Thanks, everyone, for joining the Detroit Lions on SI Lone Wolves podcast, made possible thanks to On SI, one of the great partners that we've worked with for several years, covering the Detroit Lions since 2019. Lots to get into. Man, Colin Cowherd sparked a debate regarding Jared Goff. Got to appreciate QB1. The Detroit Lions are going to face off against the Kansas City Chiefs. Prime time. Get your questions in. We're going to preview the game, highlights, where we think the Lions have an opportunity to take advantage, do the Chiefs, and because of the fact they lost to the Jaguars, does that make them an extra dangerous opponent? We also got to talk about JMO. You guys are a little bit concerned regarding his lack of touches. He's not that concerned, and the offense is scoring 40 points a game over the last month. They've scored over 160 points the last 4 games, and it's been an unbelievable ride for the Detroit Lions. But there's some unfortunate news. The secondary is battered and bruised. And there was some news today. We could see in the locker room, I was there, that Brian Branch had a noticeable limp. He's been limited in practice for the past 2 days, and it was noticeable. And he was limited because of an ankle injury, and now it's been reported by the Free Press and Dave Burkett that he's going to get an MRI. It's concerning because of the fact that he's a playmaker. He's somebody that is really part of a back end that is elite. And you're going up against one of the speediest teams in the league. And Calvin Shepard indicated that, my goodness, there's 4.3 speed all over the field for the Kansas City Chiefs. Are you concerned? Brian Branch dealing with an injury. Thanks to the first 100 people that are in here across 2 platforms. Hit the like button. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. And if you have a question and you want to get to the front of the line, make sure you hit those super chats as they are open. It's a great opportunity to engage and discuss the Detroit Lions. It's an interesting, it's real interesting right now as this football team is 4-1. Things are rolling. A lot of positivity, but they are in a situation in which that secondary now, once we got the news about Terry and Arnold and now DJ Reed's on IR, that you look at this football team and there is a sense that they really, really got to have Amik Robertson and Rocky Sin step up. Avonte Maddox, though, popped up on the injury report as well. So does the new signing come in and make a difference? Do the Detroit Lions elevate or bring to the active roster Trey Flowers? So Brian Branch, you cannot afford to have Brian Branch miss this contest. It's just going to be a quite, really unfortunate. I hope it doesn't happen, but his limp was pretty noticeable, and he's been limited at practice the last couple of days. It's unfortunate that Avonte Maddox, who was probably going to be your slot guy, does the new addition come in and, take over and come in right away and handle it. So he's a veteran, over 30 years old, familiarity with Dan Campbell, cornerback Arthur Mollett. He's going to have an opportunity. You lost Khalil Dorsey to the IR. He's going to be out for the foreseeable future. Dan Campbell indicated that he's going to be gone for a while. So what's your concern level? Are you concerned about the secondary because you're going up against Patrick Mahomes? Let me know. I'm interested in this contest. I feel like it's an opportunity for the Detroit Lions to get to 5-1 and really cement themselves. They were number 1 in the power rankings. Man, it was a fun week to sit back and read and realize that the Detroit Lions were and are viewed as one of the top 1 or 2 teams in the league. And you realize that next man up mentality is going to be called upon. What did you think of Amik Robertson? How did he perform in your mind? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking. It's interesting in that this football team has really, you go from Terry and Arnold and you bring up Amik Robertson and you have this opportunity to be able to maybe not have that much of a drop-off. Calvin Shepard today really praised Amik Robertson, and we'll talk about him. But Brian Branch, what are your thoughts about the season that he's had? Look, he's a physical player. He is taking a little bit of a backseat to Kirby Joseph just because of the fact that Joseph is just around the football. But Brian Branch also is versatile and can do a lot of different things. He's the physical presence. He's I think, the backbone of that defense. And when you combine, I think, Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, it's just formidable. It allows you to even feel comfortable when the Lions were going up against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, even though the quarterback was atrocious and couldn't really find any rhythm or avenue to get the football to his key guys, you recognize, holy smokes, the Lions did an okay job. Amik Robertson, yeah, he got cooked. He knows he got a little greedy, but by that point, everyone was still very comfortable that the game was pretty much within reach, was out of reach for the Cincinnati Bengals. So, yeah, it's not the best. It's one of the big mistakes you're going to make is to bite and try and jump a route. But for Meek Robertson, he had a pick, he had an impact, and it's going to happen. It's Jamar Chase, and he's one of the elite wide receivers, and something that, for a player of a Meek stature is something that's going to motivate him more. You got to make mistakes so that you learn and really correct it. I do think that the player that I'm going to be watching in the matchup is going to be how the Lions guard up against Thornton. I think he's starting to really emerge as a favorite target for Patrick Mahomes outside of Travis Kelce. And so Pacheco and Hunt are going to be the running backs that are going to really shoulder the load for the Chiefs. And I do think the Lions have a chance to maybe their defense limit everything that's going on. But what do you think? Are you concerned about Brian Branch needing an MRI? That's not good news. A secondary. Again, yeah, you have Taylor Decker dealing with the shoulder. Didn't practice again. That's 2 practices in a row. Let's just quickly review the injury report for the last couple of days and get your guys' sense of it. The injury report here, provided by the Lions and their reporter, Tim Twentyman. It got long. You added 2 players today to it that were limited, and it was like, oh, let's look at this report here. The Lions Thursday report came out, and it was quite eye-opening when you seen that Avonte Maddox and Giovanni Manu were placed on it. So let's take a look here. You have, first and foremost, Tyrion Arnold not practicing. We all know that. Zach Cunningham has missed the past couple weeks. Taylor Decker not practicing. We saw Kirby Joseph out there. We had a chance to see him, but he was working with trainers and Sione Vaki. That's 5 players right there. Now, the limited list, that's still those that are not fully participating: Brian Branch, Avonte Maddox, Giovanni Manu, and Khalif Raymond. It's good to see Ali McNeil and Amon-Ra St. Brown. St. Brown talked to reporters and was like, okay, it was just a basically one-day thing with the wrist. No issues. Ali McNeil, full practice 2 days in a row. We'll talk about that. Does that mean he could play? But the knee injury for Giovanni Manu limits him at practice, and the hamstring for Avonte Maddox. So you get a sense of this injury report, and you go, man, the biggest concern I think right now is Brian Branch. They're beating up. Kirby Joseph has been battling, and man, what a warrior. The safeties are battling, and you already got now, you're down your starting defensive backs. Do you have concerns? Let me know. Do you have concerns about the Lions and their secondary? Thank you to the 200 of you that are here across 2 platforms. Smash that like button. Get your comments in. I think I see one here on X. Thank you guys for retweeting, liking the stream. My concern level with Brian Branch being out, if he's out, 5. It's going to be interesting to see who they end up calling up. You would have thought that Avonte Maddox would have been the person. We'll see if he, we'll get an update on Friday from Dan Campbell himself regarding Taylor Decker, Malcolm Rodriguez, hopefully we ask about. Now, I do have an update on Malcolm Rodriguez, but it was, tongue in cheek. But I asked him, do you have an update for the people? If you hit a super chat, maybe I'll share it first. But I asked him, I said, hey, the people are asking me only one thing. He's like, what? He's like, they're only asking me, when is Malcolm coming back? He's like, really? And so I said, do you have any update for the people? And like you guys been known to, the answer I think was tongue in cheek, but he gave an answer. So it's my duty to report what he told me. Brian Branch getting an MRI. Now, the big other concern this week, outside of the preview, and we're going to do that next, and we'll have a fun debate at the end. Jameson Williams is still a massive part of this offense. Don't worry. This is no A.J. Brown situation here. Trust me. Trust me when I say that he got his money and he's a big part of the offense and he's very happy. Now, he's not loafing. Trust me. He's tasked with blocking. He's tasked with route running to help his guys get open. But you guys are interested in it, so we'll talk about it. Shout out Phil. Shout out Eric Taylor. Doc, what's up? Caught you live finally. Appreciate you guys. Phil, shout out to you. You know, just talking about the injured defensive backs. Brian Branch is going to get an MRI. He's been limited with an ankle injury. He was hobbling today in the locker room. J-Mo has not been the feature wide receiver. We know now that Amon-Ra St. Brown is the apple of John Morton's eye. He's like, we told him he's getting the football. He's getting the love because he's always open. Goff loves St. Brown. That's just the way it's going to be. Goff loves 14. And what's not to love? But why is 14? Why is 14 always open? Because J-Mo's getting a lot of extra attention. Safety help, extra attention. People are definitely scheming to make sure that J-Mo doesn't go over the top, the Tampa 2 style. They're making sure that they are over the top, not letting J-Mo destroy a team. That's what you do. That's a smart strategy if you're a defense. But having J-Mo allows Laporta to get more space, allows Jahmyr Gibbs to find avenues and creases to get open. If you're heavy on one side, there's lighter defensive help on the other side. So things are good. You need J-Mo. So don't worry too much. My man Biggins gets in watching live. I love it. I've talked about you quite a bit. Always enjoy reading your comments, your insights. J-Mo is who we thought he was. Anyone who thought he'd be more than last year is the stupid person who drives a sports car that breaks down repeatedly over a Toyota Camry, which is the most reliable vehicle ever. Biggins has been sending me these kind of messages for years. And you know what? When I fire up the X machine, I always look for them. Makes it fun. Biggins, listen, J-Mo is and I'm curious, what do you think of his ceiling? Were you, and I forget, but were you on the side of maybe they should not have paid him and just let him run his course with the 5th-year option and see what he did? J-Mo is still a solid piece. He will have his moments. Not everybody can run the system defensively to limit him, as you saw in previous games. And it's been talked about quite a bit. There will be some games where Amon-Ra doesn't get fed. There will be games where Laporta is going to dip. They just go where they believe the coverage is. And they're not going to force anything. Eric, any word on Aline? He's been practicing 2 days in a row fully. To me, I would be shocked if he played. I would be shocked just based on the fact, are his legs going to be under him? But it could happen. I would say that the more realistic might be next week against the Bucs Monday night. But I'm of the opinion that you go cautious. Cautious, cautious. Let him sit, rest, fully, and come back against the Vikings is what I would do. But he's practiced. The word is he's practicing. Now it's this week will be the first full week of practice. Does that mean he want? I think he realistically would be ready, but I think you protect him against himself and you continue to ride the train. And Ghetto Boy Juan, shout out to you. You understand. I'm of the opinion similar to you that you could get JMO involved in more intermediate routes, short like you did, more than just the end around. Some screens, hand the ball off to him, pitch it to him, get him involved. If JMO gets more routes than just deep balls, he can contribute. Do you guys agree with Ghetto Boy Juan that maybe the Lions should feature JMO a little bit more? But they're scoring a lot of points. Biggins, he can't get 100 yards receiving without at least one catch for 50-plus yards. You're right. He's the deep ball guy. That's what he's known for. But I do believe eventually he's going to evolve over. He's going to evolve and become a guy that gets some more targets and more opportunities. It's just going to happen. You want him because on any given route, he can take it to the house with his speed. You know, at any given route, just look at how DK Metcalf took it to the house overseas. I think you have an opportunity to have a similar route like that where you get him a nice slant route. Got to get over the middle a little bit. Guys, smash that like button. If you want to know what happened to Malcolm Rodriguez, hit some of those super chat because I did ask him. Now, to the degree, I believe there will be an update tomorrow on Malcolm Rodriguez. I believe the media is starting to hear about it. But I did ask, and he gave me a facetious answer, but he did answer it. Hit that super chat, and I'll reveal what he told me. Because today, here's what I said to him. I said, Malcolm, good seeing you. He's always smiling, big smile, because he knows I might ask him. Today I did. I said, people are only asking me one thing about you. He's like, what? I said, when you coming back? Big smile. But we're going to find out if there were any setbacks. We'll find out soon. I'm going to give it, Phil. If you want it faster, it's all about faster. Who's in pain? Duncan Stewart. He seems like was in pain. Who are you talking about? Eric has a suggestion. Move JMO inside sometimes. Use his speed in different positions. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. But I think that let's go, Doc Jorge. Shout out to you. One of my favorites. Yeah, TA. Yeah, of course. He was in pain. So I got carted off. But I'm thankful, second opinion. Those second opinions got David Montgomery back on the field last year, and TA might return as well. Thank you, guys. Smash that like button. Are you concerned? Do you care that there's so many mouths to feed? Unfortunately, JMO's has been on the lighter side. It's been slim pickings for the first rounder. But Amon-Ra's going to feast. Oh, look at Phil. $1.99 super chat. Rodrigo, he wants to know right now. So I asked him. Big smile. He said soon. That's what he told me. Now, I do believe there will be an update tomorrow, specifically from Dan Campbell. I overheard conversations, but they were not with me directly. Because you know me, I swoop around. He had conversations with others. One-on-one. And, he's got the remnants of, the injury. And he told me soon. Now, what does that mean? Let's first look when Malcolm was hurt and kind of piece it together here. I would think you're not going to see him. He hasn't practiced yet. So after the bye week, no doubt. Not going to be any, he said soon with a big smile. But I think there's going to be, in my opinion, you know, I think that there's going to be an update given specifically from the head coach tomorrow because the media's been around him. We see him every day. And it's been about 10 months now as of this point. I think late November. So late November. So December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. All of October is 11 months. So I'm of the opinion after the bye week, we start talking about it. So probably later in my humble opinion, later in the month of November, you get Mr. Rodrigo back. You'll get an update tomorrow, Phil. Stay tuned. I got a feeling Doc's spidey senses are up. I seen the reporters swirling around him. And they want to hone in. But I overheard some things. So I asked him today, I said, hey, I would not, I would maybe think after the bye week to start practicing. Then a week or two. I'm always of the opinion you practice a week or two, get your legs under you. So soon is relative. But I'm thinking November. In my humble opinion. We are in October 9th. He hasn't practiced yet. So I'll peek here at the schedule here and look too. But I think you're going to get an update specifically tomorrow from Dan Campbell. And if not, for sure Monday, because I will ask directly. Specifically, any setbacks, any further surgeries, anything that would be needed to be discussed. We'll confirm it, lock it down. We know they face the Chiefs and the Bucks. Then they got the bye week. Then it's the Vikings. So then you go to, Chiefs back at Ford Field. The 2nd of November. 9th is the Commanders, Eagles. Maybe the 23rd. Ford Field Giants. That's a perfect spot right there. Start practicing a couple weeks. It could be the Eagles or the, I wouldn't do it on the road, the big pressure game. Perfect game is the 23rd against the Giants. Circle that date. That's a perfect game. They'll be out of it. Rodrigo can get in and get comfortable for the final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games of the year. That's my humble opinion. Start practicing in November. The Giants are perfect. In my humble opinion, that's an estimation. But we're going to lock it down, Phil. Appreciate you in the $1.99 super chat. You got it. That's how you do it. You want something talked about? Boom, super chat. That's a good question. Manu or Skipper? I didn't put that on the rundown, but I'll tackle it. The odds of Skipper playing a full game from Jorge. You guys love Skip. The keys to wisdom. I am praying that Decker is well enough to start. The other 3 options are all terrible. More experience. Appreciate you, Eric, for checking out Crunch Time. I appear on Crunch Time Sports every Wednesday. Check it out. They let me talk for an hour every single week. We go back and forth a little bit, have some fun, mess around with the chat a little bit more. But guys, don't be concerned about JMO. It's an issue. We talk about it. But how do you feel he could be more involved? Smash the like button. Let me know in the comments as well. All right. I respect you guys' commentary. You guys got a banner up here. Skipper or Manu? What did you guys think of Giovanni Manu? We talked about this, but they did sign Skipper to the active roster. It's good. Will TA return before expected? You know, we are in actually a waiting period. Dan Campbell said they're waiting to see if his shoulder inflammation goes down. So it can't be answered. But I don't believe it's season ending. That's what we know. Right now, Dan said we are waiting for the idea of the shoulder to heal up and the inflammation to come down. And then they'll start to assess. So everything else is pure speculation. We will see. But I think you'll see him back on the field. Thank you guys. BD Buster. Appreciate you. When do you think we'll see Taylor Decker back? It's a great question. Secretive because he hasn't practiced this week again. I'm of the opinion if you're conservative, I'm conservative. I don't think you see him this week because you're playing a physical Chiefs defense. Listen, he's a gamer. He wants to play. I'm of the opinion he could, but you protect him because they want to keep him long term. Let the strength build up. I don't know if 7 days is enough to build the strength. I think the next week against the Bucs at home, in my opinion. But we'll find out more tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big time. In the morning, you'll find out more about these injuries. And Biggins is right. No reason to play Decker in a game versus the AFC because it isn't a conference tiebreaker. Make sure you follow at Detroit Podcast. You'll see all of Biggins' commentary on a lot of our posts. And shout out to him. Really, credit. The Steve Shementis of the world, the Biggins. There's a few people that I've seen over years messaging me. And trust me, I've noticed them all. Hell, I probably like 95% of the things you've said, even though I might not agree with it. So shout out to you, Biggins. I really do. I value that you followed us and have commentary, that many opinions on everything we've said. I love it. Truly, I love it. There's like a couple dozen that I value that I'll say, man, if I ever write a book, I'll say these 12 people, they were just on it and made it fun to go on X. And here, the keys to wisdom. I'd probably go with Skipper if I had to make that bad choice. Yep, BD Buster. You heard it here too. Brian Branch had an MRI. Fingers crossed. He's going to have one, and hopefully his ankle comes back that he can get back at it. He's been limited the last 2 days. Big concern. Jorge, shoulders, man, are so tough, especially with the nature of their jobs. Especially with his job as a defensive back. I think it'll be pain management down the stretch after the bye. I say Terrion is back by the Vikings game or Washington. I hope so, man. Terrion, we'll see how Amik and Rock Ya-Sin do over the next couple weeks. Now, if it's not Taylor Decker, fingers crossed, Decker clearly everyone knows is the best option. Do you go with Dan Skipper to start against the Chiefs? No. If Manu stinks it up, you bring him in. But Manu is the guy. I have not put out a prediction. BD Buster, did you already put out a prediction? The official reasoning will come out Sunday, but I'll share here today. Go Lions, baby. Until there's a reason to doubt, I'm going Lions. And I'll give you the reason when we get to that section. If you want to know right this very second, hit a super chat. I'll tell you all my thoughts. I have the banner. But we're going to get to it. We're going to go like probably another 15 minutes. I don't want to hone into the fellas too much. I had the free hour. Voice is feeling strong. Skipper or Manu? Who gives you more comfort? I say you develop the guy that you're developing. And yeah, it's not good. But Dan Campbell, Giovanni Manu, if you guys didn't know, according to the Detroit Football Network, you know, they have a report. Justin has been following the trials and tribulations of the young developmental linemen. And he said, look, everybody knows, he said after the game, it's not the standard. But he said Dan Campbell walked up to him and, you know, Giovanni was a little bit nervous. And this is what makes a great coach. Dan walks up to him and Giovanni got nervous. Like the boss is looking over like, oh, shoot, he's going to yell at me for giving up those two sacks. He's like, nope. He's like, He came up to me, big smile, pat on the back, and was like, yeah, it happens. That's your job. It's going to develop. Big smile, and it gave him like a sense of relief. You know who's going to yell at him? It's Hank Fraley and his teammates. That's a well-coached team. Dan's like, good for you. I'm glad you got that experience. Let's go. One out of the way. Dan was happy because once that train gets rolling, now Giovanni can learn from real life experience. And Goff survived. So to me, it's Manu. Younger, hungrier, and he'll learn from the mistakes. Will it be ugly? Yes. But will he learn from it? I do think so. But fingers crossed, there is risk. Goff gets popped. That's the gamble of football. That's the gamble. To me, Manu. Let me know. Skipper or Manu in the comments, in the chat. When the show ends, Skipper or Manu. And Biggins knows what's up. I was just about to say it. And you know he got help. That first series you saw, Wright and Laporta right next to him. Play more 12-man formation. Help. Absolutely. Couple tight ends. You saw that. It helped. And then, of course, the next series when they took it out, he gave up a sack. And just to give you the factual information, Dan was asked twice, or the offensive coordinator and Dan was asked, did you guys give consideration to switch Panay to left side? He said they thought about it, but just based on how it impacts everybody else, they really love how the combination of Tate Ratledge and Panay play together, and they really like what Christian Mahogany and Manu can do together working next to each other. So they didn't want to upset the apple cart. They know he could do it, but they're not doing it. The keys to wisdom is not as optimistic. He won't learn fast enough. His pass blocking is too poor, and he cannot adapt fast enough to defensive ends changing tactics on him. Very fair comment. Do you agree with what the keys to wisdom has dropped? I think he will learn eventually, but yeah, maybe not as fast as you would like. But is that going to be too detrimental? Is that going to impact Montgomery and Gibbs starting off their contest? Guys, I tried to talk to both Gibbs and Montgomery. Whew. Gibbs was straightforward, didn't elaborate. I asked Gibbs today. I said to Gibbs, how would it feel if you broke the record? It's like, fine, they want to do it this game where he and David Montgomery score a touchdown. But he was on his phone, and then Craig Reynolds came over, so I caught him at the worst time. But I tried. It was a 2-minute conversation. How did it feel to go back to Kansas City? It feels great. I want to win. Wasn't willing to throw out the words. I think I asked 6 questions and got 80 words total out of it. And then I tried to ask David Montgomery, and then, you got to also compete with the other media, and you got to compete with the team media. He was doing team media stuff and talking and doing all that stuff. I said, hey, I just want to ask you one question. I want to ask you one question. And he went like this. Like he was doing other stuff. I couldn't even get David Montgomery has been tough to land outside of days where he's talking to everybody. And I get it. I respect it. Whew, that was tough. Montgomery and Gibbs with the doc has been like vinegar and water. The defense likes to talk to me a lot more. On the offense, St. Brown, like talking to Goff. The running backs, I like talking to Craig Reynolds, but they're always like huddled together, and they're always having fun on the phone and doing their thing. So it's been tough to get you guys info. I wanted to just write a simple story. What would it mean for the running backs to get the record? They would be happy, but they want to win the game. I tried, but I haven't developed a relationship with the running backs as well as I have with the cornerbacks, linebackers, defensive ends, and linemen. Running backs are a tough group, man. I like talking to Sione Vaki too. Gibbs, not so much. And he laughed at me too. Because when you have your recorder, you talk to 5, 6 people, you have to remember the voice. So when I go to it, I had to say, hey, Jahmyr Gibbs 26, or whatever his number is now. When I looked at it, he looked at me and started laughing. I said to him, hey, I have to say your name when I go back and write this. I got to remember who you are. I talked to 9, 10 people on this thing. He started laughing. But I had a quick response. I'm like, listen, man, I know who you are. I have to document it for the audio. So when I go to transcribe it and send it to the computer, it says Jahmyr Gibbs 26. I know who it is because it'll be Jahmyr Gibbs, Scotty Montgomery, Jack Campbell, down the road. Make it easy for myself. He was laughing. Don't laugh at me. I'm sensitive. But I told him, hey, don't laugh at me. Listen, I got a job to do. And you ain't helping me. The running backs are not helping the doc. Oh, man, that's funny. All right. Preview against the Chiefs. Run the heck out of that football. You got to attack. You got to find a way to get to 3 to 4 yards per carry. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. That'll open everything up. Run action, everything. I think it's going to be a Gibbs-Montgomery game. They get the record this week. Both of them find the end zone. They move the football. They're going to want to out-tough the Chiefs. Laporta, again, I think continues his momentum. I think you get some shots for Jamo. They take those shots. I think this game has a chance to be an offensive superpower showcase. I'm thinking 37-34 Lions. I think that this game is going to feature a lot of opportunities for points to be scored. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm manifesting. Points, score, Amon-Ra, Laporta, Jamo, opportune time. Let's see if they connect. I can't predict that they're going to connect, but I see some opportunities against that secondary. Test it out. I'm not scared of I'm scared of the pass rush. I'm scared of how the Chiefs might try to block Aiden Hutchinson, how they're going to chip him. What's your thoughts on this Chiefs game? Are you concerned? I feel like Mahomes is going to turn the ball over to us. I feel like he's going to try to play hero, but he will. He'll have some drives where he finds Thornton, he finds, Kelsey. They'll move the football. The officials will help out. It'll be wild. There'll be some swings and momentum, but I feel like the turnovers will hit the Lions. This could be a tough contest, though, because half the Chiefs nation is messaging me saying Mahomes is like salivating like a pit bull to pick apart Rock Ya-Sin and Amik Robertson. Like he's salivating openly. At least that's what the trash talkers are texting me. Oh, Doc, you and your number one Lions, Mahomes is going to torch your secondary because he knows that they're there. I was like, oh, okay, let's see. That's what the reporters are telling me. He's happy and getting excited to play our secondary. And I feel like the Lions are the same way. Goff is undefeated against Mahomes. Not that it means anything because he's playing the Chiefs defense. The Chiefs are ready to be had. Yeah, they're going to be hungry. But I think if you limit Pacheco, you limit Hunt, I feel like you're going to win the battle of the trenches. Exactly. That's what, Jorge, you're right. That's the one thing that Jahmyr Gibbs did say. I haven't really gone through the transcript yet, all 195 seconds of it, but he did say he wants to start faster. He did say he's not happy with his start to the season. He wants to start games faster. So, how do you guys feel about this Chiefs game? Are you nervous? I'm not. I'm confident. They've done it before. A lot of the roster's done it. You're going to go in there and you're going to learn the lessons from what the Jaguars were able to do. You're going to take advantage of that defense. And I think that the big plays will happen in the Lions' favor. A lot more explosive plays will go the Lions' way. A lot more turnovers will go the Lions' way. There's just too much. How do you stop the Lions? It's only if the Lions stop themselves. And until they do, we pick the Lions. Simple, straightforward. They run the ball, run action, Jamo big play, Laporta big play. And you just play your game. You play your game, you win. Jorge's convinced that Skipper's going to start based on what Dan said today, or the what the coordinator said. You know, they did sign Skipper to the active roster. We'll see. Does that mean he starts right away? What do you guys think? Lions? How confident are you? 10? I think most fans are pretty happy. Dale gets in 38-31. Love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you to the 350 people in here. Awesome. Smash the like button. Retweet. Appreciate you guys. My humble opinion, listen, the factor that you got to pay attention to is this young kid Thornton is doing his thing. He's gaining confidence by the week. I feel like this game, is going to be hyped up, but I feel like the Lions are better than the Chiefs right now, and they're playing better. But you got that Mahomes magic. They can play crisply. If the Lions don't tackle well, linebackers missed assignments, if the Lions beat themselves, they can be had. But it's not going to happen. Keys to Wisdom knows 31-27. I'm of the opinion it's going to be 37-34. Detroit Lions leave with the victory. Gibbs and Montgomery each score. Gibbs, Montgomery, Amon-Ra, they all score. Goff gets a sneak in there. That's 28. Gibbs, Montgomery, Goff, Gibbs, Montgomery, Amon-Ra. 4 touchdowns. 31, 34, 37, and then Jake Bates handles business. And Taylor Swift cries for another bad loss. Poor Chiefs. I'll probably have another more detailed video on Sunday morning where I give my breakdown of what Christian wrote in regards to his tail of the tape. More information about their injury report. So look for it by visiting the Lions on SI YouTube channel. You'll see the shorts. You'll see the live broadcast. You can go back on demand all through training camp. You'll see some highlight videos I've done. You'll see reaction videos at times. Thank you for engaging in the process. Liking, comment. The show doesn't stop when I'm done talking. It's, kind of an overview. Hit the comments. If there's something that you absolutely want to ask about, if you still want to know about Malcolm, what I find out, ask. Hey, Doc, update on Malcolm. Hit those comments. I read them all. I'm 98% answering all of the posts. I feel like you're getting as much inside information as possible. Now, I will say, I might have a beef with you peoples. Our site is read at a very high level. Not humble bragging. This is the 3 minutes I talk about myself. You know the rule. 40 minutes out of 45 is dedicated to football, and then the rest is about life. Jorge, thank you. You're the best, Doc. I read SI first just about these days now since following you from Crunch Time. Man, if there ever was a message to read that just makes it all worthwhile, the grind, the losing the voice, the waking up at 6 a.m. to read and research and grind, that means a lot, Jorge. That really does. That's really nice. That might be the nicest message I ever got that I read out loud. And that's why I appreciate the Crunch Time boys, is for giving me the chance. And thank you for reading it, for reading the work. Now I'm going to complain about you because you guys read the coverage. It's a high volume of readers. But you know what the number one story of the quarter is? And it happened in 6 hours, but I knew it would. Shame on you peoples. You peoples love to read about Ben Johnson more than your own team. What's wrong with you peoples? I have a certain readership. And I knew, and I want to thank my colleague at the Bears. He's a beautiful, beautiful soul. Emailed me and said, hey, Ben talked about the Commanders. I know your peoples will read it. I thought about it. I'm like, would it be read? I wrote it up there at like 8 o'clock. I'm like, I know this is going to be good. I made it extra good. And I knew Vito wouldn't have to make any corrections because, I got a great editor in Vito Churko. He's amazing. He makes me shine. Always want to give my props to Vito, Christian, Emmett. Y'all make me look good so I can be me. I published that, and within 3 hours, It was like this. Now, it was a great headline because Ben Johnson revealed what he thought about the Commanders game. What we all knew, that he got too aggressive. Pass, JMO. That the Commanders got to him. It's not lame. It's juicy. And it was a good headline. Because Ben Johnson did not, we all want to know, what did he think about losing to the Commanders? Because he left, nobody knew. Now the Bears played the Commanders. I didn't even know that. I'm so dialed into the Lions. My colleague saw it on the schedule. They asked, and he sent it to me. He said, here's what Ben said about the game. Now, Ben did not reveal that he was focused on the Bears job. Maybe some people thought that. But no, he revealed that he felt like he got out of the game plan. He did not stick to the plan. Ben, he felt like he had to be aggressive. And you guys ate that up. I'm talking about 3.68x more than the average Lions article. What's wrong with you peoples? What's wrong is that the doc fed it to you and you enjoyed it. That's the job, and that's fine. And I'm kidding around. I appreciate you reading everything. That's why, that's my job to know. I had a feeling, but I'll be honest, the Ben Johnson stories I wrote, and you guys are wondering, why do you keep writing about Ben Johnson? Because y'all keep reading it. My job is to know what you read, and I have detailed analytics to the second. You think AJ Hinch knows analytics? SI knows analytics to the second what you guys are reading. So you may not think I'm great at podcasting. You may not think I'm great at YouTubing, but I do know when stuff shows up on that website, I know how many minutes you're reading it. To the minute. I'm an expert. To the second. I know when you guys cut off how many words. Thank you for watching the videos, though. I appreciate it. A lot of you guys are sticking the videos. I know the ads are a little annoying, but just hit the X button. They pop up. That's how I get to have fun and buy all these books. Just deal with it. I can't control it. I can't make the ads stop. But I can't make literally be like, John, can you please stop with the ads? And then I have to come back with, if you stop with the ads, I stop getting paid. That's a bad thing. Okay, that was 2 minutes of that. But you guys read up, complaining about you guys. You guys read up on Ben Johnson. You guys are like the jealous ex-girlfriend. That's you guys. You know how I know? The analytics tell me. You guys still love Ben Johnson. Or you're hate reading him. Last topic. Is Jared Goff right now a Hall of Famer? Colin Cowherd had a great point. He's getting bashed. He came out and sparked the debate. You can see all the videos at Detroit Podcast. We did a story on it. I think simply he's right there. He needs a Super Bowl. That's my opinion. He's going to have great accuracy, great passing numbers. He's going to have a good legacy. He needs a Super Bowl. To me, he needs a Super Bowl win, and he's a Hall of Famer. He's going to have another 10 years with Detroit. I feel like he's going to run this offense until he's 40, 45. He's great in the community. He's a smart guy, nice individual, well-spoken. He's corporate. He's got the gamer in him, but he's never going to show it in front of the camera. And it sucks because he's on the radio, so we're supposed to get players for 10 minutes. We get him for 6. And he wants to do the interviews, but he's in and out. Because he talks on the radio, he talks with Dan Miller, he talks with everybody else, and so we get 6 minutes with him. So it's not really the greatest. I wanted to ask him, so I don't think you're going to be on the Mark Sanchez podcast anytime soon, are you? But it was a good week. How do you ask that? How do you even frame that? You can't even tell it like a joke. So, you haven't been on Lone Wolves, but last question. So, Jared, about that Mark Sanchez podcast. That did not come out, but I did think it. So, about that Mark Sanchez podcast you went on. Whew. Bad timing there, JG16. Whew. Because it was good. Oh, Biggins. Listen, you guys find Biggins on my site at Detroit Podcast. Just give this man a follow. One day, if you ever are in the Ford Field or you're ever around, just say, hey, I'm around. I'd love to meet you. Mark Sanchez podcasting from his prison cell would be comedy gold. I forgot what his car one's called. Backseat podcast. Selly. Oh, Mark Sanchez is Selly. Celly. Oops. Jared's like, can you listen, Mark? I know we're boys. I know I wish you the best of luck. I hope everything's okay. Can you take down that podcast we were on? Thanks. I did a story on it. I forgot. Oh, he was talking about John Morton. That's the story I wrote. Selly time with Mark Sanchez. Whoops. Maybe one day. I feel like Goff's going to be here for a decade. Maybe one day I'll reach out and say, hey, come on this podcast. Let's have a good conversation. We'll talk. I'll be like, listen, you've already talked about your with the you've been asked about cutting off your junk from Barstool. We're going to just talk football. And we'll talk about cutting off your junk at the end. Listen, I can't be bad. I can't feel bad. It's kind of like, I don't know. I can't feel bad because I try to get Lions guests on. My schedule is so busy and so tight that I really only have like a couple hours to give these guys. And they're all in meetings all the time. So trust me, I've tried. It's just, they're in meetings. I know when they're in meetings because it's plastered on a TV. I know when the team's in meetings and it doesn't jive with when I can do the recording. And they don't want to come on here at 8:05. So I what is it, Schadenfreude or whatever it's called? But hey, Jared Goff went on the Mark Sanchez podcast. So you can't say, oh my God, he talked to Doc. Is that petty? That's how I think. I feel like it's normal. Like, dang, he went on the Sanchez podcast. Whew. Can't stoop that much lower. I ain't never done that. But back to, I do think he wins the Super Bowl, hopefully gets to one, at least in Detroit. Once he wins it, gets that off his back, he'll be looked at like Joe Montana and Steve Young. He'll be looked at like a great. I hope he doesn't end up looking like Dan Marino, Jim Kelly. It's two ways it's going to go. Yes or no? Is he a Hall of Famer? Is he going to be viewed as Joe Montana or Jim Kelly? Could you imagine he gets there twice and loses? Tara, shout out to you. We're about near the end. We talked about Branch getting an MRI, previewing the game. Just rewind it. It's going to be done soon. Just rewind it. Enjoy it. If the Lions win it all, I said it before, I probably would be stunned for a minute. I have to wipe away a tear maybe because of all the hard work put in, and I would be in shock. I might have to be like someone smack me on the head, be like, you got to get up and go. You got to go to the locker room. I might be in shock that it finally happened. Wipe away a tear a little bit because of all the podcasting, the yelling, the wishing, the hoping, all the money spent. I would be in shock, stunned silence for a minute. And then I got to be like, okay, I got to wipe away a tear a little bit. Because all the hard work for that week, I know would have been like, for a Super Bowl, it's 2 weeks. I would probably have 80 articles. All the hard work. And then I'd wipe away a tear. I'd message my nephew, holy effing, what the, and then I take some videos. And then I get lost probably on the way to the locker room. End up outside. But then I would find where the Lions people were at and just take a bunch of videos and just listen in. I would take a moment and just close my eyes and listen to the Lions fans roar. Because I can picture it. I heard it before. I celebrated Michigan State winning, and the roar was still in my head. The roar of winning. I know. I have it locked away. Would there be a line of people to smack you in the head? No, they would let me sit there. They'd all run. They'd all be like, yeah, the locker room's to the right, and they'd all go to the left. Bunch of snakes. But I love it. They're good guys. They'd be like, Doc, you go down that way. Oh, you'll get there faster. As a rib. They would do that as a rib. Go that way. And I'd be all by myself. Wait a minute. I always find my way where I need to go, but just always late. Oh, and then the parade coming back. Oh my God. Listen, I won't remember it. I'll be drunk off my ass. I'm not going to work it. Be like, Christian, you got to come to town and cover this. Me and all the YouTubers and all the people and all the peoples. We're going to make some content. We're going to dance. We're going to paint my face. Well, I don't know what we're going to do. What would it look like? Look like a mess. Big partied mess. It would be a mess and a party. I'd be double fisting the all grit bourbons. Like, okay, Mr. Macaroon has been dismissed from it just started. Let me stay. Be like, do you remember you threw? I'd be like, wait, I'm Mark Sanchez blacked out. You threw a beer at Sheila. You idiot. Did I hit her? No, I did not. Yes, you did. It's on film. Channel 2 played it and they slow-moed it. It's you, dumbass. No, I didn't. You blacked out. Be like, Mark Sanchez. I'd just be like, I learned from Mark Sanchez. It would be a mess. A complete mess. But I'm curious, what do you guys think? Is Goff a Hall of Famer? Colin Cowherd took that tact. It's straightforward. Goff's going to be right up there. He just needs a ring. In my humble opinion. Thank you guys for the hour. I'll elaborate more on some of these topics if it continues to blow up. You can ask me, but I'd love to just debate with you guys. Is he a Hall of Famer right now? Without a Super Bowl, you put him in the Hall of Fame? Man, I feel like it just has to be tied to a Super Bowl. People are debating Eli Manning with 2 and saying, thank you guys for the hour. It was fun. Go hop from me to all the 350 people, hop over to Crunch Time. They're great. Feel bad, but I had to get my hour in. This is the only time I could get in for the second time this week. We'll probably Sunday night. I'm not going to Kansas City. I've already been there, done that. Maybe we'll hop on Monday-ish, 10-ish, fill in the gap. I don't know. We'll see. If you want me to do a midnight taping, let me know. This content, got work to do. It's tough. But let me know if you want to chit-chat, Monday morning at midnight. Hit the comments. Smash the like button. Shout out to Phil, Jorge, Tara, Biggins. Guys, I love you guys. The Keys to Wisdom, Dale. Brian Branch, Mr. Gang Podcast. Shout out to the gang. Mr. Gang Podcast. Eric Taylor, Ghetto Boy Juan, BD Buster. I got a lot of love for you guys and your support. It means a lot to me. Hop on over and just go hop on over there and say, Doc said hello. Just all of you. Hop on. All 300 of you, just go hop right now. Smash their like button and said, Doc said hello. Shout out to you guys. Let's have some fun, laugh, have a good time. Don't take this seriously. Tigers win. Let's do a quick check here. Holy smokes. God darn it. The Wings are losing 4-1. They're ass. They will always be ass. Gosh darn it. 4-1. God, why did I even look? Now I'm going to get some texts from my colleagues that love Montreal. 4-1. We don't even belong. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give Steve Yzerman 40 seconds. Too much. That mofo is a hustler. That mofo started kids to steal another year on his contract so we don't got to make the playoffs. That mofo is slick. I know a hustler when I see it. I know slickness when I see it. That mofo is a slick shyster. He's trying to steal another year by saying we got some kids. Shame. I know it. And I'm right. 4-1 on opening night. 3 goals in the first. What a disgrace. He's a shyster. That man's a shyster. Listen, I'm not going to blame him because he knows he can hustle Chris Illich. That man's a shyster. Think about it. Your mission was to make the playoffs. Phil, listen, your mission was to make the playoffs. All of a sudden, these three young guys make the team. All of a sudden, they're great. Nygaard's great. That man realized he put together a team that ain't making the playoffs in year 7. Tell me I'm wrong. 4-1, that pissed me off. On opening night, you got to play your best. And NHL, stop putting Montreal and Toronto against us week 1. Can we get the Islanders? What the? I get too mad at this crap. 4-1 on opening night. 3-1. I don't even, Gibson in the net. Bench his ass. Look at it. They put it, shout out to the kids. Emmett Finney, Michael Nygaard, and everybody's favorite, Axel Sandin Pellica. You found out who he was. I want to know about Exene. I want to know about Axel Sandin. Yeah, right. Axel Sandin's going to put you over the top. Play the kids. Steve, I'm on to you. I know you. That's slick. Trying to steal another year. No playoffs. No playoffs, fired. Fired. God, I hate that kind of crap. You got to bring it. And I'm proud of you fans that boycotted the Tigers and wouldn't go see them because you guys are working and $18 is too much to watch a team that you didn't trust was going to score. Make them prove it. I'm proud of you. The Tigers heard your boos. Detroit. That's the fan base I like to podcast for. That fan base is awesome. They're like, oh, you lost game 3? You made us wait 3 hours in the rain? F that. We ain't coming. We'll leave that whole upper deck empty for you. Good. That's the way to do it. I'm John Macaroon. Be passionate, be loud, have fun, tell jokes, tell stories, and answer some of these questions. We talked today about Brian Branch. Are you concerned about the secondary? If he's out, are you concerned about Amik and Rock Ya-Sin? Jameson Williams. Does he need to get more touches, figure out how to deal with Tampa 2s? Is Goff a Hall of Famer? Your thoughts on the Chiefs. I think it's a good hour. Go back, enjoy it. Shout out to Tara. I hope you go back and enjoy the show. Comment. That's the lifeblood. That's how we support this network as we grow. We're nearing 4,000 subscribers. I never thought we'd get there. And then finally, skipper or Manu if Taylor Decker doesn't go. Thank you for the 63 minutes. Appreciate everybody. Let's talk either Sunday late or Monday after another victory. Lions 37, Chiefs 34, 5-1. Peace.